Great chilling in the house. Got an instant burning, yo, and LA Dodgers, yo. You know I'm an Orioles fan. 88 collection, shout out. It's great chilling, man. Where thought leaders
Polo
chill.
on this side, obviously it's a polo day
Oh, what makes it a polo day?
because I'm wearing it. you
Oh,
know,
for real.
Head to toe.
Have you been hitting the gym though lately? Because it
Oh,
look really
absolutely,
swole.
absolutely.
Okay.
Um, am I on a normal routine as yourself? I wouldn't say that, but I'm back in it. The Achilles had taken me back a bit, almost on a year now. If you remember, probably in a few weeks, you remember that phone call that happened, where I was like, "Yeah, man, I ain't gonna make it down there, yo."
So have you been doing this
Great
upper
Wolf
body?
Lodge.
Have you been doing this upper body since?
That's it, yo. Upper body. That's it, yo. My legs are hella small right now.
You do
Like
look
that's
like
why I
you you like somebody that has been working upper body for like 2 years.
it look like they about to pull a calf muscle just walking in the gym. Like you see these dudes walking around in the gym like that.
Like you might run on your arms.
That's that's where that don't skip leg day phrase came from.
Hey, but today in this episode, man, we want to talk about pros and cons of betting, just preparation in life in general, maybe more specifically to exams and big challenges, presentations. What's your prep process like? What is your unique and intuitive approach to betting?
Hmm. Like how you phrase that concert. I mean, really, man, the big thing is money first. I look at that part of it, right? Both ways, right? Because you want to win, you looking at winning some cash, right? But also too, I ain't the type trying to max out either. You know what I mean? Too, because it's a lot of games, and as you know, just like everybody knows, you can bet on almost anything at all
Do
times.
you
Like,
have limits? Do
yeah.
you have limits? Do you bet on certain games? Are you betting tonight? Like, tell me
See,
more.
I think like really I try to do it by season as well. So, you got obviously you got the NFL, which you're a fan of, right? Sport. So even people they got every sport on there. So if you're a hockey guy, you can bet hockey. But I'm an NFL, more of the NBA lane, and I will mess with MLB as well. And I have in the past won some decent money off that movement as well. But I think the big thing with a lot of what we see out there this day and age is, the sports book. That's definitely different than the daily fantasy type that exists with both FanDuel and DraftKings, where you're looking more at picking players pretty solely like games. Like, oh, pick this. We did a little tier thing. You remember with our short we did of who we were going to select over under stuff. That's more of that daily fantasy sports type move, right? That type betting versus, hey, I'm gonna go to that sports book where, hey, so and so's gonna get 3 assists, that are going to get 20 points. So it just depends on what your flavor is. I would always say dabble in it just to see. I
So
know a
you
lot of
recommend people dabble in it? What do you mean by that?
so I would
How do you
say
dabble into
I would
betting?
I would say
I'm,
dabble
I'm cautious because if I'm cautious, if I'm brand new off the street
yeah,
and I want to dabble in something, I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna dabble in something. I'm gonna lose
but
money.
that's
Where's
what
the enjoyment from that?
you get into my point is like, hey, it's to each his own, man. So
Who
it's
even
like
uses the word
when
dabble?
when I say when I say dabble, that's like when you're on the beach, you know what I'm saying? And it's like you kind of I'm gonna touch this water, I'm gonna fill it out. Like not 9 times out of 10, ain't nobody gonna just run. Let's say just that type of person.
What if I'm so
Water
frugal and I don't
jump
want to
in.
lose my money?
So,
Like I don't want to
but
lose my
one,
pinky
it
toe.
depends on what
When
you
I put
what
my
you
when I put
willing.
my toe in the water, I don't want to lose my pinky toe. I don't want to lose my money.
Right. So you dabble in it, right? So maybe you might say, hey, yo, I'm willing to lose 100 today. Okay, that's your dabble.
So
Somebody else might
you
be
gotta be
like,
willing to lose the bet.
so somebody might be like, yo, I'm willing to lose, this. You should be thinking that. I guess a cautious phrase, somebody would say, hey, don't put nothing down that you can't lose. And that's what the dabble part is like, look, like how you gonna jump into a game, test it out, and be like, yeah, yo, I'm gonna put $1,000 on it. And you don't even know what you're doing yet. Because again, a lot of these games too, depending on what you're playing, they also give back results. So that's the big thing too, that I know not just me, but even the ones that's even better for sure that have them systems and software. That's what they're doing is everything's based off results. That's how Vegas is pushing out these over unders results for years since the sport existed. They can tell you like, yeah, on this day and night, Curry's only gonna drop 15, and everybody's like, what? Yeah, all right.
Let me tell you this though. Let me tell you this though. So the
We
biggest thing
love that
about
word,
dabbling
man.
into gambling is you should be willing to lose. You should accept losses, right? And I think that's what kind of promotes the conversation to why aren't all states legalized in betting? And I think that jurisdiction is based on, what do you think it's based on? Is it based on folks just going out there and losing money, just like they would lose toes if they want to dabble in the beach and their pinky toe falls off? Like, why do
Oh,
you think
sharp.
it's
They ain't gonna
governed?
just fall off, yo. Something gonna get it.
Why do you think that it's governed in such a way? Because I think it's governed in a way because if not, it might promote bad habits. I mean, do you think it promotes bad habits? I'm not
Well, I
opposed
mean,
to gambling, by the way. I love gambling, but I think that it's governed and it's restricted in a lot of states because it may promote certain behaviors.
so I mean, even when you look on it, right? They
You know,
definitely.
research over there, yo. What are you looking up, yo?
No, I was looking on the side because it just what you were saying just jogged my memory just to make sure I at least had the name of it. But they've been, because this is the other side of it, right? We talk betting, we talk casinos, and I know Richmond. There's been this back and forth. We already have like a little smaller casino, right? But they're talking about big time one, which even I believe Jay-Z and certain celebs were gonna push for to put that effort in to be the first black owners of a casino, which in the US at the time is like that doesn't exist, right? So, but the whole thing is they're getting pushback. So, it hasn't happened. And it's going on like 2 years. And I think they're even still talking about it. It's like Urban Ones, it's 562 million, Richmond Grand Resort and Casino up for November vote. Right. And this article was written in 23, but I know again, people are still like, yo, we got to get this going. So my question, honestly, this actually relates to you in a way because you're from Baltimore. I remember driving from the airport and then I saw the MGM and I was like, damn, I didn't know Baltimore had an MGM in that joint down
So
there, right?
you hold on, yo. Let me correct you though. So you
Yeah.
must have flew into, what airport did you fly into?
BWI.
Are you sure? So you flew into BWI and you drove
I was
to.
driving down where I live.
All right, so yeah, so that's not Baltimore, that's DC. That's like a
I
different,
got you. Okay, I got
you
you.
know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I
so
got you.
Baltimore, we got Horseshoe Casino, we got, so if you driving from BWI to Baltimore, you're gonna see the Horseshoe Casino on the right. And well, first of all, you're gonna see Maryland Live, which is I live,
And I
near.
think I saw that one too, I
But you're
believe.
gonna see Horseshoe
Yeah.
Casino, and then that's where you see M&T Bank, Camden Yards, all that kind of stuff. I
Okay,
just
yeah.
want to clarify that for you because it's a different animal when you talk about, like, you flew into Baltimore, you saw MGM Grand, because MGM Grand is at the National Harbor in DC.
And
That's a
that's what
mhm.
Yeah, and that's what got me is because and two, it was when did we get in? It was late, bro. So you know what I'm saying? Like it was just dark, and I ain't never made that drive back down, like that at that time. So I just saw obviously the green. I'm like, oh snap! I ain't know. You know what I'm
Now
saying?
you probably saw the Ferris wheel, you probably saw like all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff. Yeah, that's way out on the DC Virginia
yeah,
line. And that's funny because Baltimore is such a, and Tank, he fighting this weekend. Javante Tank Davis, y'all got Keyshawn Davis, Virginia
yeah.
Beach, Seven City Monster Killer. David Benavidez, he on the card too. The Mexican Monster, of course. But when I think about Baltimore, I think about just like the soul, the spirit, and it's a very small city and a very small town, and it can be divided in a way because you got the county, you got the city, but it's really just one Baltimore. You know what I mean? Baltimore is one. And so when I think about it and when I hear people talk about it, it's like I be like, yo, I want to make sure I know where he's at. I want to make
Yeah.
sure I know because it's small like that. Like I think Detroit is real small. I think a couple cities, like maybe even like they call about people say Southside Chicago. Like I
Yeah.
think there's some cities and areas that are just like very, very small, but can also be identified through other geographical references that are very, very close. Like if you talk to somebody that's from Chicago and you ask them if they're a Sox fan or a Cubs fan, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because for a long time they were saying like,
They're divided. Yeah, they could
you
be
from DMV, yo, so you like the Nationals? Like, bro, I'm a
the same
Baltimore
thing.
fan.
Virginia is like at the time Redskins, but now Commanders is like, oh, so
Yeah,
you
we
must
don't
like them.
be bang with them. And that's not even a team, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's not even a team that I would even like they're not even nowhere near where they need to be as far as Cowboys, Eagles. I can name like almost 20 more teams that I would be a fan of over the Commanders because they're
Yeah,
just poorly ran.
they
They're
gotta
just
line it
poorly
up.
ran,
Yeah,
and they're down the street. It's not cool to be a Redskins or Commanders fan at this
yeah.
time.
And before I took us on a journey, yo, around
Yeah,
the
man,
block,
my fault,
yo,
my fault. I had to clarify that.
needing to get the navigation system right because I was following that joint at night. So, but yeah, yo, it still goes to my point though. So basically, what I was gonna get at is it kind of ties back into your question, which you had originally, I think, was getting at. But why do you think cities oppose having a casino? You know what
Well,
I mean?
why is
Like,
gambling not legal?
why is it not getting into
Why is
Richmond? What makes it? Yeah,
here's a snippet that I'm gonna share right here. Why is gambling not legal in all states? Some states authorities consider gambling unethical, and that's almost what I was just saying just now, right? Unethical, where you're going to be willing to lose a big toe in the ocean. So when the wealth redistribution can cause oppression and social dominance from the owners of the games.
yeah,
So that is the unethical part of it. The loss of income on larger scale can also affect morale and the moves of those participating. So it's not only a financial thing, it's also a mental thing and health and stability and like it's all about that. So if you just have a whole economy of people with missing their pinky toe because they dabbled into the ocean, you know
yeah,
what I mean? They dabbling into the water,
yeah,
they dabbling, you know what I mean? And then, oh, by the way, you the owner of the dabbling casino and everybody done lost their toe and you rich, you got 20, 40 toes. Like now you're in trouble,
Are you
and
though? Are you in trouble?
it's
Nah.
you. No, it'd be you in trouble,
Oh, you
sir.
mean as a person? Yeah, not the owner.
You would
Not
be,
not what
by
is it? Mark
definition,
Davis down there
unethical.
with the aces and all that. Nah, he's good. He's not in trouble.
I ain't gonna lie, yo. You look unethical right now, too, yo. With that little ass polo shirt on, yo. You
Yo,
look
I
like you
love
might
it, yo. Hey, yo, like, why you still wearing '90s white tees, bro? Like, where you been at, man? And you say you go to the gym.
hey man, hey, show my '88 collection,
Yeah,
dog.
yo,
But
exactly. It's from
anyway,
'88. It's from '88.
it
Baggy.
is, it is,
We are not
it
in high
is,
school no more.
it is.
but anyways, though, yo, getting back to my point, yo. Uh, the other side of it is I think it's not the I thought it is, I'll be honest, is what do casinos bring to your city or your areas, right? So I think a lot of it has to do with not just that ethics part, like you and I guess it does roll into the same thing, right? You got the ethics tied into maybe violence, right? Now you got, you know, all these police officers, everybody has to tend to this casino because it's about to get wild, or always is wild, right? And then you got people coming, so they get the money because a lot of times when you think about it, it's very easy to think about, man, if they bring this casino here, the area is booming, right? With cash flow, you got it owned by this or that person, and bank is coming in. That's definitely the side that's like, put it there, put it there, put it there. But then obviously the city themselves, they interview people that live in that area too, and they like, nah, we don't want that here. like what you mean? Like it's gonna move people out because, like you said, right? You kind of alluded to wealth, right? So who do you think is probably gonna get pushed out? Once this big, massive resort, because they're talking resort, they're not talking the one that exists now. They're talking massive resort, and when you look at this layout, you're like, yeah, that's a Vegas type. That's that MGM type. That's down in, like you said, the DC area, maybe. Like, so it's like that is what's probably causing these votes to go back and forth, back and forth. Nope, disapprove. Nope. So I think you brought up a unique perspective.
And it's
On
funny though because like you probably haven't seen this episode, or actually you haven't seen the series, but it's called Longmire on Netflix. Obviously the number one streaming service out there, hands down, that I've been talking about for probably almost
to each his own.
yeah, to each his own, probably. Again, most notable series.
It's okay. I will have on a small peacock shirt.
I,
Next,
I,
next,
I,
next recording.
I would ask that you please not do that, please. I don't want to see that. Anyway, yo, so Longmire, yo, is a good show because it features a policeman and he's patrolling the area, especially in New Mexico. They have casinos up there. And so when I was thinking about and I wrote down, what do casinos bring? So this casino brought in a lot of crime as well. Because when we think about casinos, just obviously is, normal pedestrians. We go on the ESPN app, we look on our phones, we go online, we look at MSN.com, and we see the stories of this better that won $1 million and blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah. But then you start thinking about like the Tim Donaghy's of the world. You start thinking about the Pete Roses and players that have gotten trouble betting. Those are just players. But what about, and even with Tim Donaghy, that whole documentary of time back to money for the mob. So when you bring in a casino, it's not just a casual play like, oh, I'm going to the casino. Though there's probably some more illicit like activity
Yeah.
going down. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Or at
and a
least
lot of times it's people that are out of the area too, and that's what a lot of times changes the game because obviously here being born and raised to Virginia Beach area, anytime summertime, Memorial Days or certain holidays come up, you you got a whole bunch of things going down, and there's a whole bunch of people that's not from the area just tearing tearing it up,
Mhm.
like you said, crime, violence, and then they're out. They try to be out. So I could see that side, just like you said, right? And I mentioned with the police, I'm like, there's a lot of stuff that comes with that. And even myself, because the initial thing for me is, yeah, if you're thinking financials, like for growth and economy wise, the money part, you're like, oh, that's a great idea. But if you're not thinking about that part, I think that later on you would be one of the ones like, man, like, they talk about, you mentioned it being from the Baltimore area, just seeing homeless a lot of places and stuff like that. That'll pick up for sure. And things that maybe isn't as prevalent all of a sudden, like you were getting to, it's like, nah, it's prevalent, So I got that part, man. Bringing up the players and or some referees back in the day, right, and coaches that were caught up in these scandals.
Bro, if you're a coach
My
getting,
question is, do you think they were the only ones?
of course
Out of,
not. I mean, there's
of
probably
course
some
not.
out there right now. You know what I'm saying? There's got
Yeah.
to be some out there right now. And think about it, like if someone were to bet on you to do your job, bro, like,
But
and I'm not saying
like,
you're an ethical person. You're an ethical person. You're a West Point graduate. A cadet would not lie, cheat, steal, what Tari Wilson do. So I know that you would not end up
yeah,
being on the
because
honor
yeah,
board for something like that. But if you
avoided
was just
hours.
a normal civilian and you didn't have that law, and maybe somebody had a big bet on you that you were going to make one PowerPoint slide with a different font because your work performance means that like you are flawless. You make same font, everything, same spacing, everything aligned in PowerPoint format, and they bet on you. I bet $1,000 on you to do that because I know you do that all the time. But if someone had betted like $3 million and you would get $2 million back, would you not even consider changing one font just by accident, knowing your track record, knowing that you might have messed up before for free? But
Yeah.
now you got your job, and I don't want to put you on the spot. I'm just saying this is hypothetical. This is great chilling. Just with thought leaders chill. Hypotheticals. This is 90% of the solution, right? Solutioning.
Hey, no cuss words.
Hey, so me and LB got this thing where like he don't like me saying solutioning. I don't like him saying scattered. But anyway,
Yeah.
let's stay focused here.
We'll
The
get into
font
that.
on the PowerPoint. Would you smudge it a bit to get 2 million buyout? Would you think about it if you were a civilian, not just you?
It's
If you're,
unethical for me to even think about it
it
in this
is.
form.
But
Um,
if you're a civilian, is that not something that you would do?
no, I mean, I would say this. I can definitely see those thoughts.
So would you legalize gambling in your state? It sounds like you wouldn't be a state that legalizes gambling.
I think I would. I think I would. Would you?
I mean, I
Because how
think
many states really like this is the funny part. This is how I look at it is conceptually tying in with marijuana usage, right? You have one
two different
state.
things, though. Two completely different things. But go
Okay,
ahead.
listen, I'm talking about the process. One state legalizes it. That's how it starts. All these other states keep saying, nah, no FanDuel. Ah, no DraftKings. Ah. And I literally, I go back and forth between like Texas, I've been in Oklahoma, been here, and move around the states. And I've been playing in those leagues, but I knew if I was in Texas at one certain time, I could only play FanDuel. I knew if I was at here at a certain time, DraftKings is all I could play. Right now, that gap is closed. Right, and then you have the states that fight it. Now it's legalized. I get back to VA, I move back. We got casinos, little mini casinos, slot machines in the gas station. Growing up, never would see such a thing. But that's the thing is
But the
that
way that you just stated your last motion, I feel like you wouldn't legalize gambling
I
in there.
would, because I'm showing the trend of
But you
you
just
can
said
only
it's
stay on the outside, but for so long,
unethical.
because how many, I'll ask you this then,
Yeah, okay.
how many states don't have, how many states literally right now have gambling imposed? Like, no, you're not doing it. How many have those where you can't play, no online betting, no nothing when your location is prevalent? How many states? Because I want to say it's like
All right, I'm gonna say,
7.
all right, I'm gonna say 38. I'm gonna say 38. What's your number?
You saying 38 are allowed gambling?
Yeah, I'm gonna say 38 allowed gambling. How
Okay,
many?
so we're in the same range then for
What do
real.
you
Because
think?
I said
No,
about,
hold
I
on.
said like 7. I said like 7. I'm thinking 7 to 10
I'm
states out of
saying
all
30.
states are only, so that would be like 40, right? 40 range. I'm thinking that.
Okay, as of 2019, commercial casinos are permitted in 18 states. 18 states.
So 32.
32 do not have it.
Do or don't.
Well, hold on, yo. As of now, only two
I think
states, Utah and Hawaii, have completely banned all forms of gambling.
that's what I'm getting at.
No, so like it
So I think
all,
you're talking about more of, I think you're talking more like casino-ish, which yeah, that makes
yeah,
sense. But I'm talking
casinos
about
are
in
permitted in
general,
18 states.
all banned. I'm talking all banned. So to me, I
All
know
banned
it's
in
probably
Utah and
under
Hawaii.
10. I think it's like 10 or 7. It's a small number, but that was my range. But that's what I'm getting at is like you have these states, because it wasn't like that in the beginning, right? You had probably them states thinking the same thing, ethics, crime. But when you start having certain states doing that and in the action, it definitely becomes more tempting to follow suit, because then you end up losing out as well if you're not following suit, and then now you're one of those 2 or 3, depending on,
Well, let me
especially
say
depending
this:
on what state
38,
that's not. Huh?
38 states, 38 states though, actually offer legal sports betting. So I mean, I actually was right on that. If I wanted to bet that, 38 states offer that. Oh, let me show it to you again. You look lost as hell. 38.
No, I was looking at it, but I'm thinking like, how is it written up? All right, I'll go with the highlight, yo. I'll go with the highlight. I'll go with the highlight.
It's something that we have to accept risk on. Good dialogue. Good dialogue. I really appreciate that. You bet a lot though.
I don't bet a lot, man.
You do bet a lot
Stop
though. I
doing
feel
that
like
rumor out
you do
here.
bet a lot. I feel like you bet every day.
Nah, absolutely not.
Have you ever had a gambling problem? Do you know anyone with a gambling problem?
Nah.
What would you do if you knew someone with a gambling problem?
Like, what would I do? Bro, there's nothing I could do. There's absolutely
There's nothing
nothing I
you can
could
do to
do.
help somebody.
With a gambling problem?
You could be like, hey man, can you set some limits? You know,
Okay,
try to
yeah,
enjoy the game.
that'll
You
go
know,
far.
like
That'll that'll
maybe
go.
not use
I mean,
this.
if they was doing that shit at the crib and they walking around like
You gonna
this,
see somebody.
and I'm like, if I was in your house and we watching the Ravens, I'm like this. Ah,
How you gonna
ah,
see somebody like, all right, yo, you got a problem, yo, you gonna have to solve it, man. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
but that's different. I would address that. I would address that with you. If
Yo,
you
if I
was
had
in
a
my
gambling
house,
problem, yo, I shouldn't talk to you.
what?
So if I have a
Yo,
gambling problem, I definitely can't go to you for the
bro,
solution.
one I'm not gonna know, unless you're like in my house, erratic or around me,
No,
and I'm like,
I'm gonna
yo,
tell you,
chill.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna have a gambling problem. Let's say I have a gambling problem.
Yo, you follow the phone number at the bottom of all their websites and on TV. If you
So you
have a
would just
gambling problem,
hand me a card, be like, yeah, just call this number.
no, you got it. You got it on your app, and that's what makes it funny. It's like you got a gambling problem, go to this phone number, call this phone number,
But
but then it's like
obviously,
you go on these
if I
banking
have a
apps.
problem, I'm not gonna look at that number.
Right, and that's my point. Is like, then what do you who you gonna listen to?
I'm not gonna look at that number if I have a serious problem.
Nah, man, they ain't. If it, and I'll tell you this: if they on there like that, they doing the other type of gambling sites, man. Because it's just because the funny part is like most people are aware of MGM, DraftKings, the mainstream ones with the commercials, but it's like they not even in the damn top 10 of sites and gambling platforms that people use. So those are the behind the scenes ones where what you talking about definitely is. It probably falls in that line for sure. Because I saw Bovado. I don't know if you ever used Bovado, but that's one of those iffy ones too. But I could see somebody getting hung up on that one because those are the sites where
See, you know about
they
bravado.
they put these events like on there that you just like what. And you can see somebody like you said is somebody who literally likes to bet and they're just in on it. They are betting all those things and you can bet all day about anything on some of these sites, like hey, this TV show is coming on ESPN. How many times will he touch his nose? Like, and it's like people just are like, whoa, like I can get $5, $10 off of this. Oh, I'm putting down, and that's where I think that can lead to, and that's why I try to confine my urgencies. I like it too. It's like a little rush. You already know, like you watching the game, you bet on Lamar Jackson, like you like betting big bucks. You bet the big. To me, you bet the big bucks on boxing. So I don't even put down that range. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when I hear, your range, I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that because I already know, like, I try to put a limit on it. Let's put it that way to where, especially that I do it, like you said, maybe often. I'm not gonna be sitting here like, yeah, yo, since I like to bet, I'm gonna go ahead and put 200 down each day or nothing like that. Like I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna try to be strategic about it.
So how do you prepare for betting? And is that like, how do you prepare for anything? Matter of fact, let me just ask you that more wide open question, right? Like I'm sure you have an approach, an intuitive and unique approach to preparing for betting. What does that approach look like just in general? Because I do know that you're a very meticulous, strategic, dedicated, attentive person. And before the show started, I talked about mathletics, in this amazing book, which
It was
part of
written by Jameson Winston. Oh,
no,
Jameson. Oh,
no.
yeah. You had your hand on top of
No.
Wayne, so I didn't know. I thought he wrote the book.
If James Winston wrote this book, I probably still would buy it.
I know.
Still buy it.
I
I know
know.
there's people that, you know, if this said Jameis, no one would probably have this book. I
Hey,
don't
I
think,
don't know. I don't know, man.
but he's great though. He's still great though. He's
Nah,
still
he's
a
a good
motivator.
guy, man. He's a good guy.
Nah, yeah, he's a good motivator.
Nah, but getting back to the book, man, like so you was digging into it before you were so rudely interrupted. What was you gonna
No,
tell us?
no, it's a great book. It talks about a lot of different things, but I really was just asking the question of how do you prepare for big challenges, things, betting, sports, events, like anything, just like what's your
I
preparation
think
process look like for
I mean
anything?
I don't think you can bucket it. I think preparation
Well, I
is
think you
dependent.
can.
I think it's dependent on what activity you're doing. Because if you're talking education, I don't prep education wise like I would before practice or a football game or
How do you
because of
prepare for a
sport.
podcast?
Read usually do a little bit of read up on maybe our topics, right? You already know, like you said, I like to dig a lot into that. But I like that prep. You know what I'm saying? Watch down TNT with Shaq. They showed Shaq reading his lines. They was joking about that because you know how they geek a lot. I was like, yo, that's me, yo. Like I'm gonna be on that. I don't know about reading lines like that, but it was like Shaq's literally was reading lines, going line by line by line. And I was like, okay, all right.
It was funny. I heard that like he had got on the set for the first time, and just to be funny, he tore up Ernie's.
No
Bro, Ernie
way.
was pissed. Ernie was mad as shit,
Yeah.
and he
But was it
said,
a joke or did he really tear up?
"Nah,
Like
he
Ernie
really tore him up. Like he was just well, he did it as like a joke, but Ernie went off, and then like Charles and Kenny, because when Shaq got on, he thought he was just gonna like just jump in and just like
just
just
talk,
talk,
chop
but
it
like
up. Yeah.
he didn't have the right prep for being serious because they still watch the games. They still understand statistics,
Yeah. And can
movement.
talk it off the
They still talk it. They go to the board. They're prepared. They're on TV,
yeah.
but they're funny. And I think Shaq underestimated the prep work for that. So he had to really, really learn and start to put the work in. And so I'm glad that he's a constant addition to NBA on TNT because they make that stuff so
Yeah.
entertaining.
And I yeah, they do great with bringing the humor in too. And I did recently read they were considering, that buyout and disbanding them, which a lot of people
Yeah,
don't do
I think
that.
NBC is trying to get him again.
Yeah, like don't do
Peacock.
that.
You gonna come in with a Peacock NBA on Peacock shirt?
Man, it depends, man, because I can't keep promoting them. But yeah, man. So prep work, man. I think just different things like so. Even with football, like going into football, play that basketball. A lot of the prep work, I think, really is just physical with the stretching part and things like that. Prior to and eating and the drink, the obvious, right? With coaches try to tell you and strength coaches tell you to do, whether you do it or not, obviously that's on you. But I think that, it's more of a lot of it is the mental game. Some players, you read about, they go into the egg, they go into the zone because they like, this what I got to do to
What's
get
the
to.
egg? You said they go into the egg. Could you explain to me?
Yeah, that egg, man, where you just sit into it, look like something from space, and then you just zone out. They actually have that in the military. A lot of times on installations, they actually have that too for soldiers that are, hey, I need to step away, maybe get back into myself, refocus type thing. They have those available too. And I know we had one when we played at school too, as well, for those type that, hey, that's how they prep, right? But to each his own, because I think everybody, they do different things. And would you say? I guess my question to you would be like, how do you prep?
Well, I would say like it always depends too because like just having confidence and then to draw pray. It's on my desk right here. It's kind of I've had this for the last 4 or 5 years. But to draw pray, second cavalry regiment.
Yeah,
To draw pray means always ready. Always ready means so that you don't have to get ready. You know what I mean? You
yeah,
always ready. I'm always being prepared. That was the mission out there, was always to be ready to fight. So the preparation comes within routine each and every day with fasting for, the first half of the day, with routine cardio, routine health maintenance tactics. There's times when I'm ramping up and I don't want to do anything until I do 50 push-ups. So like there's times and
sound
then
like Herschel Walker.
but if there's like a fight that's about if I have to not to say a fight, if I have to defend
Nah,
myself,
that's what you do, yo. Yeah,
I love Herschel Walker.
you tried to
And then
fight me too twice, so that's a
bro,
good term for you to
you're,
use.
you're fighting me right now, yo, with them short ass sleeves, yo. But
Bro,
anyway, yo,
why are you jealous? Like don't be jealous because I can wear fitted shirts right now. You chose what was it? It probably was 102 in
that's not
Baltimore
a
today,
fitted shirt.
and it's
That
nice. And
that shirt's not fitted, yo, for
that's
you.
all my tees, bro. I don't wear no baggies. Like, what you mean?
I know you don't wear baggy tees like it's 1999, but that shirt does look like you might have outgrew it like last year. Like you
Bro,
went through a different growth spurt in your adult.
nah, man. You just hating on it. You know what I'm
I ain't
saying?
even hating, bro. I ain't
Like
even but
that's your
see,
focus. That's your focus, yo. Like I thought we was.
it's not a focus. It's
I
not a
mean,
focus.
it's the second time you brought it up, yo. I didn't know. I didn't know teas was on the agenda today. I didn't know that.
See, yo, that's funny because you can't really prepare for a roast battle, but you can.
You
So you
can.
gotta you can. I mean, there's times where you roasted me, bro, and I never brought up those articles of clothing ever again. And if I did, I brought them out, and I'll be ready to like say something back.
Bruh, the only time I ever remember, honestly, and this is not a bad stat, yo. This is not a bad stat. Because as long as we've known each other, how many years, yo?
A long time.
Like, I'm
For people,
talking, what, 10? 10, no, shit, but wait, like 7, 07,
that's what I said.
right?
We're flirting with
That's
20.
because prep school,
We
right?
mess around with
So,
we creeping
so
up
out of
on
all
20.
these years, yo, since '07, yo, I just remember one time where I said something to you, yo, and that's when I think your phone went off in your pants,
Yes.
and I could see your phone through your pants, and I felt like that would be a crime if I did not say something.
That's exactly what
And
I'm
you
thinking
see
about
something,
too.
you say something.
Yeah, and what's funny is that leading up to it, it was a good battle, and
And then
like
somebody called, yo.
the judges called it. The judges
Because it
had it.
was dark. It was dark. We was
It
up
was
there
smart.
walking.
The judges had it.
I remember the moment and everything. So that's not a bad stat, like at all. Like over a decade, bro. One time.
Yeah,
You
the
know what I'm
judges
saying?
had
That I
it
can
even
remember.
through 11 rounds, and then
But it
you
was
went
that
head
funny
to toe.
though. But it was like someone's hit. Because I mean, you know where we from too, yo. So you
Yeah,
know the joking thing. That's a normal thing for us. Like so, not all of them are gonna just hit the same way to where you remember it because it was that funny. It was like perfect timing, and then you're obviously the reaction to like why did this happen?
it's
Like
like there's
so,
nothing I can do about it.
yeah,
And
and nobody said nothing, and that's the thing though. Like you said, there's no prep, right? Or the prep is like us throwing jabs all the time, right? And then I'm like,
then after that, like
there
there's
go-
no one there's no one like there to help you, defend you. Everyone's laughing.
just
And
a
at that
counter.
point, I remember we had to walk at least another like wow. So I had to like, I had to have my armor up, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Uh
I mean, you probably like jabbed me too, but it's just that one time, yo. And I'm just like, that's why I said it's not a. It just shows yo how much, and we joke all the time, bro. But it's like, yo, only one joke to me stuck
but the
out, and it was really,
preparation, there's peace in preparation.
yeah,
And preparation brings you peace.
it
Because
does.
in that moment, being in the 20s, we still trying to feel out like who we are all the way. And part of that is style and fashion because I took risks. I took big shots. I've always had.
This is a risk today, apparently.
Oh, that shirt you got on? Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
no, the whole get, because you already know how I usually come, just pretty modest and just a
No, I
little.
like polo,
Yeah,
Rafa.
yeah.
I like it though. I
But
like it.
I'll be honest though, this isn't really me to like brand on brand. I'm not a brand on brand guy, so
But see,
it is comical.
you've done the work. You see what you're
It's
saying?
comical. It's
What you're
comical.
what you're talking about
I'm
right
I'm,
now is the work that
I'm
you've done.
putting myself. Yeah, I'm being vulnerable. I said, let me do something different.
Yeah.
So we'll see. You know how it looks, how it goes with the the scene when it gets out there and what
It's
people
tough.
say.
It's tough because sometimes you might wear something where you think you might have to like tread lightly. You can't get into no battles. You know what I'm saying? Like I shouldn't have gotten in the battle that night. I shouldn't even went to war. I should have just chill out, just been a nice guy. Because like as soon as you as soon as you start talking shit, you say something to somebody and they say something to you back, you have to defend what you got.
You
You
do.
can't you can't back up. So part of it is also knowing that to be vulnerable and understand and trust
Vulnerable.
yourself. And trust
If you
yourself.
remember, I took my hat off. I put it back on. I was like, no, I'm gonna take whatever jab comes today.
The cat the cat tough though. It's
I
taking
might.
me some time to get around it, but I know my go-to, yo, is the shirt. So
It's
I don't know if you've been I don't know if you've been lifting weights, bro, but it just
yeah, but
looks
what
like
about the washer and
more arms,
dryer too, bro? Like
more
you're not
arms,
considering all,
more arms today. There's more
and
arms.
that's usually different for me. I usually don't show arms, right? So it's like, bro, I told you, bro, I was feeling different. You know what I mean? I was feeling different. I said, let me try something new. Um, you know what I'm saying? For the cast, for the crew.
But it's
Um,
tough. It's tough
but
though.
it could go, and I mean, celebrities they give me all the time because sometimes they just put on. I'm not gonna say sometimes, a
Anything.
lot of times they just put
Yeah,
on anything.
right.
And
Right.
I like Jason Tatum. I saw his suit the other day, and I said, oh man, like I just feel like sometimes it's a gray area, but I feel like it's like the more money you got, it's like you're just like I could do anything.
Right.
give me
Right.
give me this pink crop top, and I'm
But
gonna go into the game in it.
to your point though, ironically though, they have mastered the prep of vulnerability,
Yeah.
transparency, and like all those things. They could give a damn
They
about what
don't
we
care.
do.
They don't care.
They don't care what
And
nobody
it's
thinks.
obvious.
You know what I mean? And their circle, they probably like all millionaires, and they like, well,
But
you
they
can
get
talk about
but
my
this
pink
the funny
suit.
This is the funny part too, though. Is like at the end of the day, some of these fit show, you know, they're gonna get clown, bro. Like Jock, I remember he wore the romper, then he did the hair, he got the perm hair, yo, and it's like, you know, he's trying to make a scene. He knew he knew it was viral. He knew all that stuff was coming.
But
The
that's for
jokes,
that's credit and kudos to the NBA
yeah,
for making the sport feel that
comfortable,
type of vibe. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, comfortable.
But
But I mean, Charles and them, they be getting on them too. So that joint it'd be funny, man. And we already know in the entertainment world that's a thing. Like that's how artists, that's their name, that's their brand. They're gonna rock something, you know, wear certain things, like 'cause that's their brand. So it was funny because I'm like, yo, I'm gonna go off brand tonight, yo, and I just fell
nah,
into a
it's not
battle.
even off brand, bro. That joint
I
tough,
fell
bro.
into a battle. Um,
Yeah, you just tripped into it.
I mean, I really wasn't prepared for it. Like I'll be honest. But
I
are
think
you ever prepared for a battle? That's
I
like
I
going to
mean,
school. That's like going to school knowing you're gonna fight somebody. You know, like back in the day. It's just, and the dude that gets punched. Like I'm gonna tell you this one day, yo. So I said one day, back in the day, the bell rings. We all go into the cafeteria, just
oh, what
walking.
grade is this?
Somebody, this is high school. Somebody
Mm.
was not prepared. They didn't know that something was probably gonna happen today. This other person was like, something's gonna happen today. So this girl just literally, girl just sitting in the cafeteria chair, walks up, two hands her hair, hit, yeah. It was just like, whoa, what is going on? And it's like one of those where sometimes, man, like you can be maybe prepared, but you just get jabbed, man. You take the L. Um, Now I'm sure she was on high alert after that. Probably didn't have her back
Yeah, but
toward
that's the thing. You always to your afraid. You always gotta be ready. Like if I'm in the cafeteria, you know what I'm saying? I need to be sitting to where like my back ain't
That's what I
turned.
said. Her like she could see,
You know what I
but
mean?
I'll be honest too. Though is like there has to be
Oh,
something
yo.
behind that. It wasn't
No,
a random act. So that's
it
when
wasn't random. It was
you have no point not to be prepared, right, or prepped to be like at any moment this could happen because it wasn't a random act of violence. Like that
it was
was
planned. It was
calculated.
targeted. Yeah, it was
That's like
calculated.
me coming at you out of school or something after school, like, yeah, wait till I see you, da da da. And then the next day I'm
But if,
just chilling, like with my
but
back
if it
turned.
was calculated, you gotta be prepared and do those calculations. So I know I'm just messing with you, right? And the polo joint is tough. But like if you was but if I'm aware, I gotta know that like the next time I put something on, bro, I gotta know how to defend that
You got
joint.
to know your weaknesses. That's what you're saying.
I got it, huh?
That's
Like,
basically you saying know your weaknesses, right?
yeah,
Translating
you gotta know your
conceptually, hey, conceptually too. Like I could go into sports, right? Football, you looking at, you know, game film, right? You like, hey, I gotta step it up here this week versus last week because this is who I'm playing, and I'm weak at this or that. Going basketball, going left, going right. You know, like little things like that. Knowing your weaknesses can pay them dividends. Like dudes getting older, like Brian, like, hey, you hear a lot of the older players too. Like I had to adapt my game. High flyers when they were young. Hey, I got to finesse this J now. You know, so it's just one of those where, you know, I get exactly what you're saying, right? You got to know, like, yeah, when I show up, yo, I know Lamar is coming for these jeans, yo. So let me let me brace myself with a comeback. Um, Either A, you support your gear. That's the first thing you can try to do is support your gear. So me,
in
I
a
think
roast
that
battle, support your gear.
the brand support polo, that's good. I don't need to support that as much. What type of polo I'm wearing, tight, small, big, hat, dingy, whatever, that's what I got to support. Not the brand, but
Yeah.
how it may look.
Let me simplify it. First, support if you find yourself in a rap battle, I mean in a roast battle, first support your gear.
Support it. Figure it out. Figure out how to support your gear.
Step two, hey yo, support your size. All right.
Support the overall look, the
Yeah,
features.
support your size. If you're a big dude wearing small shit, you need to know how to support. how that mold came
How
into.
and why? Because you could easily give a response like, "Oh, I'm wearing this because I can run faster," and then it throws them off. Like, "Whoa, huh?"
Well,
So you
yeah.
planning like that? You prep like, "Why are your shorts so small?" Oh, so I can run faster.
Or even the opposite. If it's your joint super big, like if you small and you got some big shit on, like what
Why are you wearing that?
is that? Someone else's shirt?
Defend it.
Did you
Defend it.
think?
I'm trying not to sweat
And the
as much.
last,
I want to
what would be
breathe.
the last step that you think is important
Oh
in a
man.
roast battle?
Oh
Your
man.
gear, your size, and what's the last thing you need to do? I would say either protect your sense, you protect your, just be comfortable with yourself. If you're in a roast battle and someone's saying something, it means you're doing something right. You know what I mean? Like for people that ain't saying nothing to nobody, I don't think someone is
I mean,
always.
I think too, yo, you just got to know
Yeah,
as well, because this gets dangerous too. Is when you take that L, right? You take that shot. You got to know how to deflect it and accept it.
yeah.
Don't keep. Do not keep going.
But you can also prep. You can also prep, and you can study the room before things happen.
That's a
So
big point.
it's a
That's
it's
like
a
comedy.
gritty.
That probably goes into your comedy routine, right?
Oh hell yeah!
Study in the room, right?
Now it's a gritty way to live. It's a hard way to live, where you just got to roast everybody when you walk in. But most of the time, the roast doesn't come in the form of like some deliberate stuff. It's more of understanding and awareness of like you know what's going on.
Did you watch the Kevin Hart one on Netflix yet?
Man, I have not, yo.
Yeah, I think they
You got a
did
new
very
stand
well
up.
at.
You got a new
Yeah,
stand up.
it wasn't really a stand up. He was getting that Mark Twain award.
Oh, but those
But,
are even better though. I like
but a
those.
lot of they, and I will say I like how they run that event because like the roast that can definitely get really personal. Tom Brady did his roast, and he actually did say he's like, yeah, I probably never do that again. But the reason was why his reason, yeah, you read about that, his kids,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's cute.
So it was like with the Kevin Hart thing, and all those people went up there, and yeah, they throw little subtle jabs like how we throw jabs, but it wasn't nothing like on that level where you like, man, that that seemed kind of personal. Like it was all love. It was all just little minute like jokes like, yo, your shirt too small. Of course, he too small. Like, just throwing jazz, but it was in a classy manner. It was funny. It was diverse. So it wasn't just, minorities. White people obviously came on there as well. Comedians. I said people, but comedians. And they definitely were funny. All of them in their own way. And it showed you too with comedy how, what I mean, not only does it join them together and they just geek and clown on each other, but outside of it for sure they're definitely friends, and I thought that was like that was definitely a good vibe.
Yeah, shout out to Kevin Hart, man. He's definitely somebody else that we both admire in terms of the investment and celebrities. We talked about that in the last
And we
episode.
and we actually got into it. I wouldn't say I got into it like that, but me and you went back and forth, which is funny because Dave Chappelle actually brought it up when he was speaking about Kevin Hart about how we talked about smaller venues, who may be the better comedian, who may certain things, and at that time I don't even think you was feeling Kevin Hart like that, but I was like
Let's say that
trying to,
for another episode, yo,
yeah.
because I think that I always have been. But we
But
gonna
you
say,
was looking at another angle. You was looking at another angle, maybe.
hey,
And
that's what GC perspective is, yo. And today
yeah,
we talked about the pros and cons, a little bit of like betting. We talked betting. We talked preparation, that overall approach. We also talked about how to prepare for a roast battle, impromptu style. Um, Comedians and how do we see them as impactful and effective on stage. We got a whole bunch of other topics to talk about. Yo, this is great chilling. Where thought leaders chill and beans. You have anything else to close us out, Brad?
nah, man, it was a good rap like always.
Hey, where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Great chilling now. Yeah, brother.